Hi, so this is Jen from Teal Finch, and today we are making Easter egg cozies. So we have two options for the cozies. One is if you're using a hard-boiled egg, I have a removable cozy. You can just take it off and then it easily slides back on. So thinking you could decorate with hard-boiled eggs and then take them off and then save them for future years if you want. The other option is if you're able to find these little wooden eggs. I got mine at Target. This is a completely enclosed little cozy. So you can just use them to decorate or give them as favors at your Easter brunch or hang them as little ornaments on an Easter tree. So let's get started. Okay, so for this project you will need 2 skeins of any type of cotton yarn. I am using Knit Picks Cotton, and I like this yarn because it has some nice structure to it. It's a number 3, so I recommend you find a number 3 if you're using a different yarn. And it's 70% cotton and 30% linen. And the linen gives a nice structure and makes it kind of strong and not quite as stretchy. I really like that about this yarn. But you can use any number 3 cotton yarn. I have a wooden egg. If you want to use a hard-boiled egg, that's totally fine. I'll show you what to do if you use a hard-boiled egg. And I got these at Target. It came in a 6-pack. And then a 4mm hook and some scissors and your tapestry needle. Okay, so I'm starting with the light blue, and I'm making a ring. Sometimes it's called a magic ring. So you just fold it over like you're going to make a slip knot, and then you twist the yarn through just like a slip knot, but you just do that twice. And then insert your hook. This part is a little awkward. It'll take a little practice if you've never done it, but you'll catch on. Pull up this little loop, yarn over and chain, and then yarn over, chain again. All right, so now we have our chain 2, and you can tighten this a little bit, and we're going to work inside this loop. All right, so we're going to double crochet 2 together. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2 again. So now we have 3 on our hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. Okay, so then chain 2, and we'll do the same thing, except now we'll double crochet 3 together. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull through 2, so it's sort of a partial double crochet 3 times, and now we pull through all the loops on the hook. Chain 2, I'll show that to you one more time. Pull through 2, pull through 2, one more time, and then pull through all of them. Okay, so we're going to do that 2 more times into our little loop there. Okay, so I chained 2, and then I did my double crochet 3 together again, and then I chained 2, and now I'm going to pull this a little bit tighter, not all the way though, and kind of let the little tail wants to go that way. So I'm just going to let it, and I'm going to work my last one over that tail. And this is called a double crochet cluster. So when you're done, you'll have 5 clusters. 1, 2, 3. You'll have 5 clusters in your ring, and then there'll be 5 chain 2 spaces. And then go ahead and pull that little ring. And you really can give it a good, you want to try to pull it as tight as you can so it closes in the center. And then go ahead and join with a slip stitch to the top of that first cluster. Okay, so now that's what you would do if you want to keep the same color. If you want to change colors, when you join, just grab your new color, insert your hook, loop this over, pull it through the cluster there, and then pull it through your last little loop there. Pull everything tight. Okay, and then you'll probably need to hold on to that. Just holding on to it with my pinky when I get started on this next round. Okay, one other thing you will want is a stitch marker. If you don't have one of these handy, you could just grab a paper clip, and that works really well. Helps to use a small one. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and cut that light blue yarn so it's out of the way. And then we're just going to start this next round. So round 2, we start with a chain 2. And we're going to single crochet in this first chain 2 space. And chain 2. Now if you're using all one color, now would be a good time to insert your stitch marker in that first chain 2, because that's where we began our round. It's kind of obvious since I changed colors, but okay. Then we single crochet in the top of the cluster. Chain 2, single crochet in the chain 2 space, chain 2, single crochet in the top of the chain 2 cluster, chain 2, I'm sorry, it's not a chain 2 cluster, it's a double crochet cluster. All right, single crochet in the space, single crochet in the cluster, and just keep doing that the whole way around. Okay, so the last thing we do in this round is we single crochet in the chain 2 space, and we're not going to join anything. Okay, and that's the end of round 2. We'll have 9 single crochets and 9 chain 2 spaces. Okay, so for the next 3 rounds, we're going to do the same thing in the next 3 rounds. So we'll start with a chain 2, single crochet in this chain 2 space that began the last round. And this is where it's really important to place the marker, or you'll get, or at least I would get lost. So, okay, so now we're just chaining 2 and single crocheting in the chain 2 space. And do that the whole way around. Okay, so the last thing you do in the round is you single crochet in the last chain 2 space, and then that's the end of the round. All right, so that was round 3. Rounds 4 and 5, you're going to do the exact same thing as round 3. So we'll just chain 2 make sure you place the marker in the first chain 2 of the round, and then just keep going all the way around and then around again. Okay, so I've finished rounds 4 and 5, and you can see it's sort of starting to curve in on itself. So that's good. Okay, the next round is the same thing, only we are just going to chain 1. So in between each single crochet, just chain 1. And then that will help it start getting even tighter. Okay, so at the end of that round, you'll single crochet in that last stitch there, and it's starting to get a little bit tighter. Okay, so at the end of round 6, this is a good place to stop if you want to make it a removable little cozy. So first, either way, whether you're going to stop here or keep going, now is a good time also to weave in your ends, because it's going to go on the egg and you won't be able to weave them in later. So just weave them in a little bit and then you can cut them. Oop. So then you won't have them dangling later. So just try to keep weave in the light blue with the light blue stitches and the teal with the teal stitches, just so they stay as hidden as possible. Okay, so now if you wanted to cut your yarn and pull through to finish off, you could do that, and you just put it onto your egg. Now if it's a hard-boiled egg and you want to save these to use next year, you don't want to have to cut them off. They could just be like a little cap like that, and then you could just put them in your dish to serve. It'd be super cute, or decorate the center of the table. Even as the wooden egg, it'd be cute to stop right there and do that. I'm going to keep going and I'll show you how to finish it off. Okay, so this will be round 7, and you're just going to do the exact same thing as you did for round 6. So chain 1, insert, chain 1. We're going to move that stitch marker to the beginning of this round. So into each of those little chain 1 spaces, and you can find them because they'll be right after the single crochet. And then just chain 1. Just keep doing that all the way around. Okay, so we don't want to sew it closed yet. Let's go ahead and insert our egg sometime in round 7 as it starts to get small. Just squeeze your little egg on there. Push it, and you can kind of center the flower wherever you like it, just flip it over and make sure it's sort of where you want it in the center there. I kind of like it a little bit towards the bottom. Okay. So then this last part can be just a tiny bit tricky, but it's just it's pretty short. So just keep going with our single crochet, chain 1. Then you might need to just set it down on a table and lift it with your other hand to get under the stitches. It's a little fiddly, but if you just, the more you practice it, the easier it gets. Okay, so we're back to the beginning of round 7. So now for round 8, we're going to single crochet in all the chain 1 spaces. So just single crochet, and I'll put my stitch marker there so we know where we started. And then each chain 1 space, you just single crochet all the way around. And as I'm going, I'm kind of pulling on the stitches because you want them to kind of stretch over the egg, so it's nice and tight. And that's, I think, what makes it look pretty, is with the spaces between the stitches where you can see the wooden egg underneath. Okay, oh, one more. Okay. Okay, so the last step is we're going to cut the yarn, but leave a long tail, just to make it a little easier for seaming. And go ahead and pull that through. Okay, you can double check one more time to make sure your flower is where you want it, and see how things are looking. Okay, it's pretty. I love these colors. The light blue with the teal is really nice. Okay, so now we just weave through. We're just going to close this up. Just weave through. It's kind of pretty with little, I kind of like it with the hole in the, because then it can also balance. So you can pull it tight if you want, just depending on what you want to do with your egg. If you wanted to maybe make them like an ornament and hang them, you could close it all the way. Just depends on what you want to do. So just pull that. I'm going to leave a little hole because I'm going to lay mine flat for laying on a table. So once you have that weave through a ways, you can pull it tight. So if you pull it really tight, it will close like that. So that's good. Let's just go ahead and go with that. Okay, tie a knot, and then weave in your little tail.
And clip it.
And you're all done. There you go. Fun.